Hey everyone, welcome back to Geek Trunk. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the brand new Streets of Mos Eisley. Now, if you picked up this set or you're thinking about picking it up and you're saying to yourself, there is no floor, there is no base, what are my options? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a few choices that you could do to give yourself a pretty cool looking floor, a cool looking base. Also, I'm going to set it up next to another set. We're going to open it up. We're going to put it all together, see what they look like with two sets. Then I'm going to display it next to my cantina, put some figures in there. Hopefully, it'll look pretty cool. But what do you say? Let's do this! Whether you're a fan of the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, Disney Plus, animation, the Streets of Mos Eisley set, we'll go with all of the above. Hasbro does a great job with the vintage collection packaging, but I guess if I was to nitpick one thing about this item, is I wish the reverse image art would be like the original drawing, just like they did back in the 70s and 80s. This set comes with a decent amount of accessories, including a carded Jawa. Now, if you're a carded collector like myself, you definitely need to pick up two, right? Because I need one on card and one loose. I really hope that Hasbro re-releases the original Jawa, but if they don't, please give us a 4-pack. A 4-pack would be awesome. Let me know in the comments, would you be interested in buying a 4-pack? The set is neatly packed, and Hasbro definitely does a great job. Great team on putting this package together, because I tell you, sometimes when I take an item out of box and I want to put it back in, I have a hard time even figuring out how it went back in. Let me know in the comments, have you ever done that? Have you ever taken an item out and tried to put it back in the same way and you just can't do it? So applause to Hasbro. Here's everything out of the package, and here's the instructions. Shows you how to put it together. Shows a few sets there. Now, having one set will look great, but having two sets or three sets will look fantastic. So far, the detail looks pretty cool. A lot of different options you can do here. I love these little crates here. They open up. You can put accessories inside there. We have two different colors. That's pretty neat. I think this item here, is this like a generator or something? This has some fantastic detail and weathering on it, like that. It also opens up, so you can put some items inside there. That's pretty cool. Here's a half of an entryway, and what I like about this is if you have two, you can connect them to make it a little bit wider and a little bit more appealing. Here is a tank. That is a pretty cool item. I like that. And here we have the doorman or security droid. That is pretty awesome. Great detail. I like that. I love the eyeball. Here we have the steps, and I love the fact that both sides are different. Last but not least, we have the entryway where the security droid goes, and he goes right on that little peg. The door slides back and forth like that, and it feels solid. Really good. You can move the security droid with that little handle in the back. That's pretty awesome. Great detail. Here's a closer look at the control panel. That looks pretty good. Now, as I said before, you have one entryway. Now, if you have another set, like I did, I picked up two sets because I want a carded Jawa and a loose Jawa. And I figured I'd have to get two sets. But that's a great thing to have two sets, because if you connect this, look how much better that looks. Yeah, that looks so cool when there's two connected. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's put this set together. There are definitely a few different ways you can set this up. We're going to set it up this way. But you see where that square indent is on the right? Well, the cantina, the HasLab cantina, I believe comes with stickers like posters, wanted posters. So I believe that's where you can put one of the wanted posters. So I'm definitely going to do that when I get the cantina. Again, what I love about the stairs is you can reverse it to have two different images. So if you have two sets, you can change it up so the stairs look different. But even with one set, you can customize it to make it look pretty decent and pretty different. This is another option. I mean, it's probably not the greatest option because the other side of that wall doesn't look that great. But if you display it like that, it's not too bad. You have it on an angle. Looks pretty cool. Let's put the security droid on that peg. Is he a security droid, or is he more like a doorman? What would you say, doorman or security droid? because he does open the door for you, right? But that looks great. But I wonder what that would look like with Jabba's throne room set. We'll have to try that, right? Let's get all the accessories, place it around, see what it looks like. And what I love about sets like this is the fact that you can make it your own. Change it around so my set is not going to look like yours. Maybe it will, but maybe it won't. I can make it my own. You can make it your own and have fun with it. And putting two sets together, I love it. I think this is a great idea. Like I said, I love sets that you can make it your own. Now look at this. Now this doesn't necessarily connect this piece here, but it actually, look at that. It like slides in perfect. There's like a little notch there. So even though it doesn't click in, it definitely sits in pretty good. And look at the stairs. See how that stair looks different than the other set? And that's just because I reversed it. So that's pretty cool. I love the fact that it's not the exact same image or sculpt on the backside and front side of the stairs. If you watch my recent video, Let's Get Crafty Star Wars display, I purchased this burlap and I used it for the floor of my purchase of the droid set. And that display came out really good. So I think this will look great with the streets of Mos Eisley. So let's give it a go. Let's see what it looks like. And I think it looks really good. Let me know in the comments. Is this something that you would use for your set? If you're not a fan of the burlap, I do have a few other choices. Now, when I went to Lowe's, I found this Easy Liner Solid Grip. This is used for your kitchen cabinets or your bathroom cabinets, so when you place an item there, it won't slide back and forth. And plus, there's a little bit of padding there, so things won't get scratched up. But I think the color looks pretty good for the streets of Mos Eisley, so let's check it out. We'll lay it down. We'll see what it looks like. Fingers crossed, this one looks pretty good because I like the feel of it. And there you go, Easy Aligner Solid Grip. There you go. I think the color is like exact to the display, right? It actually looks pretty good, but I'm not really sure if I like the fact that it looks exactly the same color. I'm kind of leaning towards the burlap, but this still looks pretty cool. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Now, the texture on this is pretty slim. There's not a lot of texture, so let's get one that has a little bit more texture to it to maybe make it look a little bit more like it's been walked on. And I think this choice might be pretty decent. I did find this over at Walmart. The price was a little bit under $16, which is pretty good. And there's quite a bit here, so I definitely can do the streets of Mos Eisley and even continue it over to the cantina. Actually, everything I purchased today is long enough to do both displays, but I'm not really sure if I want to go with this pretty much the same color. I kind of am leaning towards the burlap, but let me know in the comments. What do you think? And which one would you choose for your display? Now it's time to check out the Jawas. Now I have two of them. One I'm going to keep on card and one I'm going to open. But the challenge is, which one do I open and which one do I display? And it always goes by, in my opinion, obviously if the card's damaged, but if they're not damaged, too bad. I always go more to what the figure looks like on the card. Now, if his arms are all jacked up, his feet are all jacked up, I definitely don't want to display that one. Even if I had a card that had a little imperfection, but the figure looked better in the card, I would rather choose that one than have a minty card than a figure all jacked up in the card. And look at these two Jawas. Now, to me, the heads look a little bit different. So there's so much to choose from. But I think the holster showing on the one on the left, I think I'm going to display that one and open the other Jawa. And speaking of Jawa, here is another one. Now, this one's Tika from the Obi-Wan series. And I think she's going to look great on display with my Mos Eisley set. Now this set, believe it or not, I only paid $25 on Amazon. So to have another Jawa, I think that's a great. And look at, I love the fact that they look different. So even though we have a Disney Plus Jawa with an original trilogy, I think they look fantastic together. Let's play around with the green screen and that looks fantastic. I think I'm going to have to go to Michael's craft store and pick up some cardstock to look like the sky. I think that's going to look great for the streets of Mos Eisley. Let's see what the security droid and the door looks like with this Jabba's palace. Sure, the color's not perfect. With a little dry brushing, you can make this fit perfectly with your Jabba's display. Sure, you say, this is a little small. The entryway was massive in Return of the Jedi. Well, maybe that was for unloading and loading large items, but I bet there was a smaller door for like regular aliens and people to walk through. So we're going to say that would be a great fit for your Jabba's display. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Before we set up the set, let's take a look at how my display looks like now. Over on the left is a setup of the Streets of Mos Eisley. That is a reproduction of the Sears Cantina. Definitely going to change the floor. Going to try one of the three of the floors that I showed today. I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to do. Definitely, and I'm having a hard time with the Cantina floor. I don't know what color it is. Is it beige like the sand, or is it more like stone, gray? Let me know in the comments if you know what color to use. I might have to do beige because I think that's what it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's remove everything off the shelf, including my reproduction Sears Cantina. I love that set. This is the dimensions of this area that I'm going to use, and I think it just fits. Look at that. It's going to be a tight fit, but it'll work. So this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like after, and I think it works. I mean, this is 2 sets in here, and it looks pretty full, but there are quite a few items in there. We have a land speeder, a dewback. We have quite a few figures in there, including the seated Jawa. I love that. We have the Garandan. We have a few sand troopers. There is Soboba. That is pretty cool. So yeah, it is pretty packed, but I think it looks great, and I think I can actually tweak it a little bit more. But let's get rid of this Luke Skywalker. That's old school. Let's put in the new Luke, and I think he looks great there. Definitely going to change a few of the characters from the older version to the newer version. I think this set is going to look great, but I think I can work on the Streets of Mos Eisley a little bit more. So let's see what it looks like in a different arrangement. I'm going to remove this entryway that I had set up for my Cantina, and I'm going to replace it with the doorway from the new Streets of Mos Eisley set. Over on the right, that is the entryway. I did remove the security droid, and I replaced it with the droid scanner, and I think that looks fantastic. I added a puck light for the sunlight effect. I think that looks great. I do have a Ronto, a dewback, some droids, sand troopers. We have some other characters in there, R2, 3PO. We have the sitting down Jawa in the back. I think this set looks fantastic. Top left, I'm going to have to get some blue sky cardstock. I think that'll finish that display just nice. But coming over to the Cantina, I think these look great together. We have the dark Cantina look. I love the lighting there. Again, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do for the floor. Should I leave it black, or should I continue the burlap all the way through to have the sand look? I'm not sure if it's sand or is it stone. I'm not sure what the floor is in the Cantina. Let me know in the comments if you know. I hope this video helped you out on displaying your Streets of Mos Eisley, gave you some ideas for your floor if you had no ideas what you're going to do. I think these are pretty cool options and inexpensive. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Remember, we are all Geek Strong. Take care, everyone.